What's up, guys? It's Ray. We're here today inside of the XTech Tactical Warehouse, and we're going to be covering everyday carry guns, or EDCs. So there's a lot of conversation surrounding your everyday carry gun, especially for new gun owners and people seeking to pick up their carry gun of choice. A lot of different recommendations, a lot of different preferences surrounding which one is the gun, the best gun, so forth and so on, when in reality, there's a lot of great options out there. What you really need to do is figure out what option is going to be the best choice for you, which is going to fit your hand size, your clothing style, the way you dress, things like that, and give you comfort and confidence behind your firearm. So with that being said, let's jump into my gun. So this is the Sauer P365 XMacro, and this is the original release before they switched this designation to what's known as the comp. So the comp is the ported slide here, allowing you to have gases escape, acting like a little geyser in a jet to reduce recoil in the firearm. To me, this firearm fits my hand extremely well. It's 17+1 capacity. So with 17 rounds of defensive hollow points and 1 round in the chamber, giving you 18 rounds in total, that is full-size firearm capacity, which I find extremely relevant to have on you, especially in a package that is slim and easy to conceal like this one is, while still offering you a full-size grip on the firearm, not feeling like your hand is hanging off the bottom of the firearm or onto the magazine or anything like that. So for me, having larger size hands, that is a huge win, and definitely a bonus, as a lot of guns feel extremely tiny in my hands. Super small guns obviously have more recoil than larger guns. So a gun that is still streamlined enough to disappear on your waistline, but still long enough that when you grab onto it, you feel as if you have a full-size gun and you have full-size firearm capacity. That's a win, hands down, in my opinion. Now, some of the things I love about this gun, one, Sauer decided to opt for a fire control unit inside of this firearm, meaning that the actual serialized part, as you see this cutaway here, is the trigger group that's inside of this frame or grip module here. So that allows you the flexibility or the option to really customize and kind of have your way with this particular platform. You have a huge support for aftermarket grip modules. If you wanted something metal, different shape, more different texturing, things like that, you can order it, get it shipped right to your door. Take out your fire control unit, drop it right into that one, and be off to the races. Of course, like most firearms out there, you have different trigger shoes and triggers that you could change out to, springs and all of that stuff to really kind of dial it in for you, lighten up your trigger pull, things like that, make it crisper, clean it up, whatever the case may be. It also has an actual rail on the firearm. So as you can see here, I chose to go with the Streamlight TLR7 sub, and this is the HLX version, the 1000 lumen one. So again, a nice bright light on here that I can actually utilize functionally, not just a dim light that can give me something. Like a lot of the super small guns you get, like the TLR6s, little clamshell things that have really low lumens, not really functional, but better than nothing. Whereas this is actually a full power light that I can put on this platform and still carry and conceal it extremely well. Now it is also an option to be able to flip over your mag release and things like that. If you're left-handed, you don't have controls on both sides of the gun, but nonetheless, I'm right-handed. It doesn't really affect me in any type of a way. It's set up pretty much the way I've had this gun since I first purchased this particular one, featuring the Streamlight. Actually, I lied. This one had the original Streamlight TLR7 sub on it, so it was a 500 lumen model. I upgraded it to the 1000 lumen. The optic being a Holosun 407K. That is the original optic that I put on this literally the day I got it, and so forth and so on. And I've kind of just left this as is, as a package that I'm extremely comfortable behind. I know enclosed optics are what I pretty much exclusively put on guns now, protecting the back lens of the optic instead of allowing lint and things like that. As you can see, there are some areas in here where some lint and stuff like that builds up, which is one of the cons or downsides of an open emitter as opposed to a closed emitter. But this has served me well. I have another duplicate one of this that's set up with enclosed, so forth and so on. And for me, I felt like if it wasn't broken, there was no need to fix it. So this remained my baby as is. So this also came with night sights from the factory here, blacked out rears with the tritium inserts and a bright green ring around the tritium insert on the front. Again, this is the way this gun came from factory. I have not changed out sights or things like that. I know right now, iron sights versus optics, red dots, if you're not familiar with what an optic is a huge debate. You know, again, new shooters constantly come inside of the gun shops asking about, should I put an optic on my gun? Should I just learn under irons, things like that? Optics are the future in reality. Just like pretty much every other firearm type that exists out there, they have progressed to using some form of an optic, whether it's an actual magnified glass like a scope, or a red dot like this would be similar to holographics, prisms, so forth and so on. There's a host of them out there. that's the way that this is progressing and trending, and it's for a good reason. There are more pros than cons to doing this and making that transition, and the optics are basically improving themselves as they're becoming more popular in the market, and they're becoming more robust, more bulletproof, as we like to say, and things of that sort, to allow this to be a truly viable option. Is there a need for me to remove my sight since I have an optic? No, I don't believe that it serves any benefit to say I'm going to take these off of here, even though the red dot is my primary form of actually aiming and utilizing this firearm. So they just live there and still offer me the option of being able to shoot with the iron sights in case my red dot actually does fail. And ironically, I was at the range last weekend, and another gun of mine that has an optic on it that is rechargeable, it died, but I was still able to shoot the gun because the iron sights were there, kind of reinforcing that sentiment of saying, like, it's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So holster that I carry this in will be the Works holster. So it does have the little flange here that allows the belt to kind of keep it rocked in, that wing there, as well as a slight wedge on the back built into the kydex that also kind of kicks the gun into your body when it's holstered. So your body pushes against it, causing it to go back into your body, and then this will pull on your belt line to camp the handle or the grip of the actual firearm along your body line as well, keeping everything kind of tucked into you and streamlined, and allowing this gun to really disappear on you and not be noticeable. Yes, there are smaller versions of this gun that exist, like the 365X XL and the micro or standard 365. For myself, I've found that the XMacro provides the better sense of balance and overall feel of the gun under fire, as well as the additional ammunition capacity and that grip being flush fit to me, instead of having spacers and gaps and things that can pinch your pinky or cause you to fail trying to seat your magazine fully into your firearm. I prefer that to be just a solid piece in the magazine to fit flush. So the XMacro is again the winner of choice for me. So the way I carry this, again with the Works holster and that wedge there, I have a Core Essentials built on. So that kind of clicks in there right at the appendix and pretty much allows it to camp back into my body. So your shirt and everything, even though I wear tighter fitting shirts, all of the above, still will allow it to kind of hang where it's not as noticeable, not very visible unless you knew it was there or you're looking for it. You get a small kind of little bit of a something that could be printing there or something like that. Typically it's overlooked. People are too busy living their own lives to even pay attention to it. So you're not going to walk around and say like, oh my God, there's a huge gun, or even realize it's there. It's extremely comfortable for me, extremely easy to go ahead and get a true grip onto the firearm as I go to draw it, and all of the above, as opposed to trying to hang on to a very small point. And when we talked about the belt that I was wearing, that is another important point. Gun belts are a thing. I know a lot of people try to skip that step and get right into saying they want to wear whatever their normal belt is, a leather belt, a cheap belt they found at whatever store. But the benefit of it, as you can see, this belt does not even flex or droop down on itself. It has reinforcement in it, as most gun belts do, to keep it rigid and keep it from bending and flexing, so it supports the weight of the gun for you, so it doesn't add any extra sag or droop on you as you're walking around with your gun. You go on like a normal day. So that wraps up the overview of my personal everyday carry gun. Just remember that because this is the particular firearm model that worked for me and that I feel confident behind, it doesn't automatically mean it's going to be the best choice for you. So do your actual due diligence, research, and get out there and train. Go test out firearms, figure out what actually is going to be the best choice for you specifically, not just what someone else recommended or said is the good choice to choose. All right. The whole goal of this is to make sure that there are more people out there that are armed and actually proficient to be able to protect themselves or the lives of others if it came down to it. So instead of being a liability out there, just carrying a gun that you don't actually practice or train with, do your part, help the community, and save lives by getting out there and actually practicing with your gun and remembering to actually choose a gun you will carry. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what gun you actually do carry and what your EDC setup is, or even what guns you're considering and might be in the market to pick up to choose as an everyday carry gun. We'll see you next time. Take care.